Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Monique Barnett-Davidson and I am the Senior Curator here at the National Gallery of Jamaica, where I manage curatorial projects as well as supervise the Education Department. For the next few minutes, I'm going to be speaking to you about education through the museum experience in preparation for the NGJ's Teachers Webinar, which will be held this year on November 14. So, for more information on that, just click on the links in the description box below. Generally, the phrase museum experience describes the quality and impact of interactions encountered by museum visitors as they engage with various aspects of the museum's offerings and features. This usually begins at the first point of contact with the museum, for example, on a call to find out information about entry, fees, tours, etc. The experience continues through to the actual visit and concludes with the visitor's appraisal, which can take the form of feedback communicated to the museum by the visitor. The information that will be delivered at the NGJ Teachers Webinar and this video presentation is coordinated to function as resources for educators, both professional and in training. It should help to enhance the learning experience of students through resources that can be accessed via the museum. So, with that being said, let us begin. A key element for conducting activities for learning is having a space to do it in. A learning space is somewhere where knowledge or information is being transferred or communicated to an individual or group, with an aim for learning to take place for the recipients. Learning spaces fall into two main categories. The formal learning space, which is usually outfitted with specific items such as tables, chairs, and whiteboards designed for the delivery of lessons and other learning activities, for example, a classroom. The informal learning space, which is not specifically designed for formal learning activities, but can still be used to facilitate learning. The museum can embody both informal and formal spaces. For example, a formal space in a museum is a reading room, which is an environment where persons can sit down at tables to peruse reading material and make notes. An informal space in a museum is the exhibition area, which is primarily designed for the viewing of objects, featuring an open space with little to no furniture, with objects displayed on walls or in cases. Learning can still take place in an exhibition area under the guidance of a tour guide or by individuals quietly observing and thinking about the things they are looking at. Learning spaces in a museum can be utilized to support activities developed by educators in response to formal learning agendas, for example, a curriculum topic. Because of this, it is common for museums to collaborate with educational institutions in order to enrich content or enhance learner achievement. They can do this with the assistance of museum educators, specialized staff members who generally should have workable knowledge in areas such as learning methodologies, learner types, content delivery, and teaching technology, alongside having curatorial and research expertise. There are many perspectives about what a museum is and what it does. For the purpose of this presentation, I'll be using the definition that was developed in 2007 by the International Council of Museums, ICOM. As the largest professional organization for the field, ICOM's perspectives on museums are informed by the largest network of museum institutions and professionals working in over 140 countries across the world. According to ICOM, a museum is a non-profit, permanent institution in the service of society and its development, open to the public, which acquires, conserves, researches, communicates, and exhibits the tangible and intangible heritage of humanity and its environment for the purposes of education, study, and enjoyment. This definition describes what the core functions of a museum are: acquisition, conservation, and exhibition, and it also connects them to wider social roles that emphasizes the museum's relevance to society, for example, in the areas of research, entertainment, and education. The Encyclopedia Britannica defines education as a discipline that is concerned with methods of teaching and learning in schools or school-like environments, as opposed to various non-formal or informal means of socialization. Education can be thought of as a transmission of values and accumulated knowledge of a society. It must be noted that education can only be deemed to be effective when it brings about a permanent change in the way that someone thinks or in their capacity to do things. Bearing this in mind, the development of educational services by a museum must be the deliberate creation of a learning environment using museum resources, which promotes and generates the achievement of both personal and national curriculum-based educational goals. Therefore, museum education is considered as a series of activities developed for the engagement of visitors in learning experiences designed to inspire curiosity and interest in museum objects and collections. Museum education is considered to be non-formal, which means the following. 1. It is an addition, alternative, or a complement to formal education within the process of the lifelong learning of individuals. 2. It shares several aims and objectives with dedicated educational institutions, but it does not have to center its programming on an established curriculum. Museum education tends to take a constructivist approach to teaching and learning. 2 key principles of such an approach are: 1. Learning is a process and result of questioning, interpreting, and analyzing information. 2. Learning involves the integration of a visitor's current experiences with past experiences and what they already know about a given subject matter. For example, one constructivist methodology used in museum education is object-based learning, which involves actively using authentic or replica material objects, whether to physically handle an object or to observe closely without touching. This is used to prompt visitors to question, interpret, and analyze information concerning that object and other related materials. The National Gallery of Jamaica has had its education mandate since its beginning in 1974, established as a part of its mission to promote our artistic heritage for the benefit of future and present generations. That means that the NGJ must use its collections as a medium for connecting people to the value of artistic practice and innovation in Jamaica as well as the wider Caribbean. Additionally, we believe that this will help to encourage appreciation as well as critical engagement of art for all who see it. As such, having an education department as one of the NGJ's operational units has proven to be integral in gradually encouraging the development of a more diverse and socially integrated audience in these regards. Museum education at the NGJ takes the form of workshops or other public forums, as well as some specialized guided tour formats, such as the forms of art tours, which is targeted mainly to students at the primary school level. One of our main approaches is to establish close relationships with educational institutions and professionals in order to identify the needs we are best resourced for and develop programming to address those needs. More recently, the NGJ Education Department has been working very hard to engage learners beyond the physical museum site by developing more online initiatives. A great example of this will be our upcoming Teachers webinar, which is designed to meet objectives such as 1. Providing participants with information on how to apply museum resources in lesson planning, and 2. Delineating procedures to participants concerning research and booking reservations for tours and other educational services that the department provides. Remember that museum education is the deliberate creation of a learning environment and educational services using the museum's resources. It is a form of museum engagement that greatly benefits from the collaborative input of educators and learners as much as that of the museum education staff. For a more in-depth understanding into the approaches and strategies utilized in such a collaboration, I would strongly recommend for you to join us on our Teachers webinar on Saturday, November 14, 2020 at 1 p.m. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to continue to walk with us in support of art, experiences, and learners. Take care and see you soon.